We are the real Super Saiyans. All your carbonated beings, your non-ether beings. Once you see that everything, all the traits of the Super Saiyans, which I'm about to let you see, you'll know why we are the Super Saiyans. However, though, in Dragon Ball Z, the oppressor wants to fool you. Here, man. The oppressor wants to fool you, right? Oh, my bad. The oppressor wants to fool you, right? So in Dragon Ball Z, he hides your history, all right, and your abilities behind a fictional race called the Super Saiyans. Meanwhile, he tells a complete different story. Okay? Let me run this back before I go to it. And I'm gonna show it to you. In this cartoon, Dragon Ball Z, when he shows you the Saiyans, the whole Saiyan story is really the story of what the human beings did when they landed on our planet in the year 1492. Okay? But all the traits of the Super Saiyans are actually the traits of us. This is how cold the oppressor is with his lies. Let's check him out tonight. Let's check him out. All right. So boom. This is the Saiyans. All right. The Saiyans are a fictional race that was created allegedly, all right, in a cartoon called Dragon Ball Z. And I urge everybody, if you ain't never seen it, order it on YouTube, watch the whole goddamn cartoon every season, okay? Because they tell you so many stories about what's going on in the cosmos and these different extraterrestrial races in this cartoon. Okay? And what you gonna see tonight is, what you gotta know is this. How did the Hollywood creator had as much detail about the Saiyan race for this just to be fictional? All right? Look at how they dress. You see their tails? These are the Saiyans right here, right? These are the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z. Who they look like? Caveman, right? Don't they look just like how they told you caveman used to be dressed? And then you see a tail right here. Why do they have a tail? All right, this represents the animal genetics. They are humanoid looking, right? These are your human beings. The Saiyans represent your human being race. Their looks, right? Their look in this cartoon. This is a very deep cartoon. All right, because it talks about our story in this cartoon, but it's hidden. These are the Saiyans. Look at them. Look at how this is broken down on this website. This is how you should know this isn't no fucking cartoon. Look at how it's broken down. Other names: homeworld, habitat, body type, height, locomotion, diet, sapient level, status, universe, created by. And you will read this. A person that's don't have their third eye open, right? They'll read this and won't have no clue. But let's read about the Saiyans. And we already know, right? The creation story. We know the creation story that the oppressors taught us in school about, that the world started either A, from the fucking Big Bang out in space, or B, from Adam and Eve. God made Adam, and then out of Adam's rib, he made Eve. These are the two stories that the oppressors tell you, that how life was created here on this planet. Now, I have came and told you, and other intellects have told you about a different story where I say, hey, that is not what happened. We've been here. We created this planet, and these human beings came and landed on our planet. And they entered our planet through portals in the Caucasus Mountains. And these human beings come from our brother Zeus, who created them to destroy us. All right. Now, let's read about the Saiyans. Check this out. Saiyans are an endangered race of sapient humanoids, widely known for being a naturally aggressive warrior race, who are one of the strongest species in the universe. Now, when you talking about, once again, these are your traits. They talking about us, the Anunnaki gods. Remember, I told you, in this cartoon, they gave the Saiyans all our strengths. Okay? While mixing their story in, but they gave them our strengths in here. All right? So when they saying naturally aggressive race, yes, human beings were naturally aggressive, right? They was aggressive in the caves because before they came through the caves back home on their planet of Nern, they were aggressive. They were bred with animal traits, so they are full of animal instincts. They react out of animal instincts. They are very barbaric. Okay, this is known about human beings all through early history in Europe. You can go look at it. They was always barbaric. Go look at their Germanic raids. Go Google the Germanic raids. All right, and how all those tribes came out of the Caucasus Mountains, killing all the Moors and stuff like that. All right, like they have always been barbaric. Okay. And this is because back home on Earth, when Zeus created their race, like I told you, when Zeus created the human race, he bred them like that. Even now, they're like that. You'll never hear a black person going to shoot 100 motherfuckers and then shoot itself. But they will, though. You'll never hear about no black or Latino person chopping a motherfucker up, then sitting down and eating them. But they will, though. You'll never hear about no black motherfucker or no Latino motherfucker, if you want to call them that. No god or no goddess. Killing a motherfucker. Then burying them in their wall and still living in the house the rest of their life. But they will, though. Well, they have 1,000 motherfuckers buried in the walls and all up under the house. John Gacy wasn't the first and he wasn't the last. John Wayne Gacy was not the first and he wasn't the last, man. All right. Now, these are the traits of the human beings. We just talking science right now and genetics. These are the traits of the human being species. Now check this out. Let's keep reading about these Saiyans. Let's see check out their history. Check this out. This is supposed to be a cartoon, y'all. But check out this. Watch this story. The Saiyans were a group of barbaric aliens who arrived to the planet Vegeta, once known as the planet Plant, very long ago. We already sounding similar to the real creation story here now. The Saiyans were a group of barbaric aliens who arrived on this planet that they wasn't from. And they were already barbaric before they got there. Keep in mind, alien only means foreign, not from there. Because they already told you the Saiyans were what? Hold on, the Saiyans are what? Body type. Humanoid. Look at them. Humanoid. With tails. And we know who grow tails. To this day, we know who grow tails. Okay? We know who grow tails. Let's see. Oh, okay, right. We know who grow tails. Okay? To this day, we know who grow tails. This is real life pictures of people with tails. We know who grow tails, man. To this day. Okay? And you will never see nobody with carbon in their skin growing a tail. Okay? So let's go back to this supposed to be cartoon, though, about these Saiyans with these tails that are humanoid. Remember, y'all, this is supposed to just be a cartoon. Let's keep reading the history of the Saiyans in this cartoon. The Saiyans were a group of barbaric aliens who arrived to the planet Vegeta, once known as the planet Plant, very long ago. So that means they changed the name of the planet after they got there. Sounds familiar to me. Their home planet, Sadala, had been destroyed due to conflict among Saiyans. Wow. Now, if you know true esoteric history, you will know for a fact that the human beings turned on Zeus' home planet Nern, and a whole war broke out, and then they were then sent to planet Egypt, all right, where they escaped with help from these Pleiadians and these reptilians. And that they warred on their own home planet so bad amongst each other that they turned on Zeus. Let's keep reading. Their home planet Sadala had been destroyed due to conflict amongst themselves. They are the Saiyans. So they destroyed their own home planet. Sounds familiar to me. The indigenous life forms to this planet were the Tuffles. Okay, so the indigenous life forms to this planet called Vegeta, which the Saiyans invaded, were the Tuffles. Ooh, that sounds familiar to me. A very technologically advanced race. Okay, so the Saiyans invaded the planet Vegeta, which was home to the Tuffles. The Saiyans were from Sandala, but they destroyed their home planet because they were so warlike amongst each other. Sounds like the motherfucking human beings to me. That's what they did on their home planet of Nern. Okay, so the indigenous life forms to this planet were the Tuffles. And the Tuffles was a very technologically advanced race. See, listen, man, this is what I mean by when people say they put this shit in cartoons and movies. No, they really this is the history of Dragon Ball Z. This is supposed to be a cartoon, y'all. Why is this detailed? That's what you should ask yourself. Why they got this website dedicated to it? Who wrote it? And you can go to any website. That's going to be the story because I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. So the website ain't doing nothing but just writing a story that's already been told on a damn cartoon years ago anyway. So you need to be asking who wrote the cartoon. And how did he think of this? Because we know that people without souls lack creativity. That's not racism. That's science. That's physics. That's metaphysics. Okay? Let's keep reading, though. This is supposed to be a cartoon. So, the Saiyans basically invaded the planet of the Tuffles, who are already a very technologically advanced race. When the Saiyans first arrived, they lived in the arid wastelands on the outskirts of the Tuffle cities. Do you hear this? What does that sound like to me? That sounds just like when they lived in the caves, in the Caucasus Mountains, on the outskirts. It say when the Saiyans first arrived on this planet that the Tuffles owned, they lived in the arid wastelands on the outskirts of the Tuffle cities. Okay? This is supposed to be a cartoon. Let's keep reading. The Tuffles had no way of knowing the Saiyans would eventually take the whole planet for themselves and destroy the Tuffle race. Sounds just like us. Didn't I say we welcomed them here when they first came, which we did? They ain't did nothing but wrote in this fucking cartoon what they did when they came and put little different names on it and made a mockery of us. Okay? The Tuffles had no way of knowing the Saiyans would eventually take the whole planet for themselves and destroy the Tuffle race. One day, a civil war broke out. Okay, so we know civil war means war within the planet. Okay, we know what happened when this war broke out on our planet when they turned on us by using our technology against us to destroy us from within. So check this out. One day a war broke out, and the Saiyans tried many times to overthrow the Tuffles, but were unsuccessful. Although the Saiyans were bigger in size and much stronger, they were fewer in number compared to the Tuffles. Now, the bigger in size and much stronger, that's a lie. That's an exaggeration. Okay? It's just an exaggeration. All right? But they are telling you the history of what happened on this planet. They're disguising it with names. All right? What also gave the Tuffles an upper hand was that they had technology to read the power levels of the Saiyans and advanced weaponry to hold them off. All right? So they keep talking about how these Tuffles were so technologically advanced on this planet before the Saiyans even got there. Now keep in mind, the person who wrote the cartoon, they going to always still try to throw us off. So, they're going to exaggerate little things, but I'm on their ass. I got you. Don't worry about it. Let's stay focused. Then one night, the Saiyans were able to transform into Azuru, also known as great apes, which increases their power levels by a factor of 10. Okay, so we already know that human beings are spliced with animal genetics. The pig, the lemur, the dog, and the snub-nosed monkey. Okay? We know this. So why in this cartoon is it just so happen that these Saiyans who look human and they got tails just like human beings are able to transform into these great apes, which then they become more powerful thanks to the full moon and the resultant blood waves that only come once every 20 years, which is once every 8 years. All right, so here they are on this cartoon talking about these Saiyans who invaded the planet of the Tuffles, who it was their home planet, and they destroyed them. They killed them off. And these Saiyans killed them off by being able to turn into these great apes under this full moon that never existed before they came to the Tuffles planet. All right, now let's click on the Tuffles real quick. Let me show y'all something. So, let's read about the Tuffles real quick before we keep going. This the Tuffles. Keep in mind that the Tuffles represents us as well right now in what happened when they first came to our planet. But let's read. The Tuffles were a highly advanced technological race of beings native to the planet Vegeta before it was taken over by the Saiyans. All right, now, they show you the Tuffles white because they're going to show you that everything. But look what they was into. Cloning and everything. And if you know the truth about your ancestry, we've been into, like I told you all, cloning, eugenics, creating different things, even cloning planets, universes, realities. Like, that's what we were doing, okay? So, check it out. Let's read it from the Tuffles' point of view. Despite their incredible technologies, the Tuffles were largely a docile race and held no aggression towards each other or other races. So they telling you the facts about your ancestry and how your ancestors was originally. All right, remember the Saiyans came to the Tuffles planet. Check this out. Despite their incredible technologies, the Tuffles were largely a docile race. That means they were cool, they was chilling, and they held no aggression towards each other or other races, nor did they suffer from overpopulation. So they was living their best life, y'all, before the Saiyans ever came. Sounds similar to me, right? Sounds familiar to me, right? However, the Tuffles lived side by side with another race, the Saiyans. Some sources state that the Saiyans simply evolved alongside the Tuffles at a similar rate, though the Saiyans and their society were still all arriving on strange starships one day. Hold on. However, the Tuffles lived side by side with another race, the Saiyans. Some sources state that the Saiyans simply evolved alongside the Tuffles at a similar rate. Though the Saiyans in their society were still quite primitive, they were fully, keyword primitive, y'all, listen to their story. They were fully sapient, while others indicate that the Saiyans were not native to the planet Plant at all, arriving on a strange starship one day. You hear this story? So this is from the Tuffles side. The Tuffles This was their planet first. Who you think they hiding the Tuffles behind? And look how the Tuffles look. The most evolved Tuffles look like this. Look what color they were, green. These are the enhanced Tuffles. They were green. Okay? So, and we know we were green, blue, and red originally. So just listen to this story, though. And most people never went behind Dragon Ball Z to dive this deep. Even people that watched the cartoon, they didn't never read the comic strips. You got to go read the comic scripts on these cartoons, y'all. The Supermans, the Batmans. That's what I mean by research, man. And then go just read a little into genetics, and you're going to be overblown. You ain't even got to keep subscribing. You go read that for yourself, and everything you need to know. And just learning that empowers you to do it. Okay? It will empower you to be able to do it, because this is things you need to know about. This is history you need to know about. You need to know who the real Saiyans are. All right? Who the real Saiyans are. Because guess what? These beings that they showing on Dragon Ball Z as Saiyans still aren't the real Saiyans. Those beings, the Saiyans, that's their story, or that's the human beings, but they are not capable of doing what they are saying they are capable of doing on there. That's our traits. So this is how they threw us out. Just like they told our story and called us Tuffles. However, the Tuffles live side by side with another race, the Saiyans. Some sources state the Saiyans simply evolved alongside the Tuffles at a similar rate, though the Saiyans in that society were still quite primitive. Come on, man. We already know the stories we done heard. Long before the University of Cosmic Intelligence was erected, I'm pretty sure you all heard stories about who was living in the caves. So that would be primitive. Why is this story eerily similar like this, y'all? How? It's supposed to just be a cartoon. And trust me, they don't expect us to be reading this right now. They do not expect niggas to be reading no shit like this or putting two and two together, because people don't even read into the back. I went on the background of the comics. I went on a history channel, like they fandoms, to read like behind it. Even though I already knew all this, I wanted something to show y'all, because I could say all this, but I want y'all to see what this cartoon is about. Okay? You got to open your third eye so you can grasp all that knowledge, because it's all around you. Don't be scared to watch a cartoon. Don't be scared to be, oh, no, that's a movie. No, because they put everything, that's where they put everything at. How the fuck this story lining up like that? Ain't no way. This supposed to be a cartoon. Ain't no way, man. If y'all listening to what I'm reading, are you serious? And then everybody in here, third eye open. So you see through this shit like a motherfucking cream soda pop. You feel me? You see clean through it like a cream soda Fago or something. You feel me? Like you Fago bottle. I see through you. Cream soda. Come on, stop it. I see through the other side of that. You should better see clean through that. They said they were quite primitive, the Saiyans. This the Tuffle said about the Saiyans. Then they said, while others indicate that the Saiyans were not native to Planet Plant at all. Remember, it was Planet Plant first, and Vegeta first, and then the Saiyans killed them off and renamed it. So that's why they saying. Others indicate that the Saiyans were not native to Planet Plant at all, arriving on a strange starship one day. Who just came and arrived on our shit on a strange starship one day? They did. Which is why we call them Caucasian, because they came through the Caucasus Mountains. They did. And see, they put it right in front of your face. That's how they do it. Check the story. Let's keep reading the story of the Tuffles. The later was revealed to be true, as the Saiyans are originally from planet Sadala. So they wasn't from their planet. They were from a different planet, and they did just come on a strange starship one day. Then relationships between the two races is also mixed. The first account explains that the Tuffles lived in their advanced cities in the more fertile areas of the planet, while the Saiyans lived in large tribes out in the Badlands. Who that sound like? And the two very rarely, if ever, interacted with each other. What started the war is debatable. Dr. Rashid account states that the Tuffles welcomed the Sayians with open arms and treated them as equals. That show what the fuck we did when these human beings got here with these Pleiadians. We welcome niggas with open arms. The whole fucking story of the Pilgrims and the Indians is really about, because we the fucking Indians. So it was never no fucking Pilgrim Indian shit, nothing, nigga. Wasn't no ship came, no Pilgrims jumped off. We kicked it with them, none of that. Wasn't no Indians, nigga. We are the gods. We are the motherfucking Indians, nigga, that's walking around. We used to be Cherokee and Illinois and all these Navajo and all this shit. Now we African Americans and Mexicans and all this shit. But before all that took place, when they first landed, we welcomed them with open arms. I've always told y'all this, right? And you can go hear others talking about it. Like I always say, that's what Malcolm meant when he said we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. This ancient story that has been passed down from generation to generation about these beings coming to our planet and us and human beings not being from, that's not no exaggeration. That's not a lie. So how the fuck is this shit in a cartoon? You know what I'm saying? They don't expect you to read all this. Who finna go read this? It's a website. Everybody reading this in 2021. Let alone putting it together if once they read it. So they, you know what we doing right now is like just some hacking the matrix shit right now. You know what I'm saying? To make a deeper point. Why is this cartoon this fucking detailed? You should ask that too. This history too damn detailed for it to just be a cartoon. Now check this out. Check this out. Eventually, regardless of their origins, one Saiyan became dominant amongst the collective tribes. A Saiyan Dr. Rachi describes as having the cunning of a Tuffle. This Saiyan was none other than King Vegeta, and he incited a swift and brutal war against the Tuffles with the intent of eradicating them entirely. Who that sound like? Who incited a brutal war against us with the intent of eradicating us entirely? You see what I'm saying? Remember, this is the Saiyans who did this to the Tuffles, but this is the fucking Tuffles planet. Saiyans ain't even from there. The outcome of many battles was mostly even, since though the Saiyans had greater strength, they possessed far fewer numbers, allowing the technological Tuffles to tip the balance with their advanced weaponry. Unfortunately, the war was brought to a sudden end by the arrival of an event that only occurred on Planet Plant once every 20 years, the full moon. So check this out. On Dragon Ball Z, they telling you that this full moon event occurred once every 20 years or 8 years. When in reality, though, there was never a moon. So them telling you on Dragon Ball Z that it occurred once every 20 years, that's just to show you that, hey, this shit was rare. We never had a moon. This moon shit don't be just happening. And when you think of a moon, you think of what? A full moon. You don't think of no half moon, no quarter moon. When you think of the moon, you think of a big ass moon out there. That's what you think of. Okay? Then it says the entire Saiyan race transformed into their 8 forms in the space of a single night. The whole Tuffles were annihilated, taking what little of the technology that interests them, most notably the scouters and battle armor. The Saiyans established their own society amidst the ruins of the Tuffle civilization. crowning King Vegeta and naming a planet after him. Who the fuck does that sound like? Killed us off, took the technology from us. This is what I was telling y'all when I've been saying, hey, and other intellects, that this technology we see, like this little laptop shit, this is nothing. This is nothing. We built everything. We built with our minds. You are mentalists. You are magicians. And it's certain technology that we had that they took that makes light code lockdown possible. Certain foods are fed to us as part of this technology that they took to keep us from. All right, because remember, all this power that they saying the Saiyans got, they don't have. Okay? The only power our oppressors has is the lies that he has taught to us. And he gets us to believe in his lie, and we create what he need us to believe. Okay, let me say this over. The oppressor has no power over us, right? The only power he has is that he has the gift of lying. Okay, so that's deception. And we are the creators. We are the ancient beings. So the oppressor, all he needs to create his world, he uses us. And he gets us to create his world by getting us to believe in his lies. Okay? We believe in his lies, and by us being ancient beings, our belief in his lies will then begin to shape his lies into a reality. They then manifest through our belief in them because we are ancient beings. This is just metaphysics 101. And they know this, right? So check out in this cartoon how they putting this shit right in your face. It say the Saiyans, after they destroyed the Tuffles, they built their own new city out of the ruins of the Tuffles. Ain't that what they did to us? Blew up all our crystal towers and pyramids and Oregon energy pyramids that was made out of pure crystals. Cut down all our real trees. Laid down absolute and tore down a lot of powerful landmarks that we needed, that emitted certain energies. Now they got cities over these energy portals, right? And they built their own society out of our ruins. And then in here they saying that they renamed the planet after Vegeta. Did they not rename our planet? It's not Kai anymore. It was Planet Kai before they got here. And Tiamat. Now it's Earth. And we know who made Earth. Their creator made Earth. Zeus. Because Zeus made Nern. And Earth is the nickname for Nern. Okay, so they put this shit right in the little cartoons. You feel me? Now, let's go back. All right, let's keep reading. So, let's keep reading about the Saiyans. All right, so we went into the Tuffles. We just dove into the Tuffles because we had to figure